Hey everybody, today we're going to look at pictorial drawings. So a pictorial drawing is an image where you can see all three views on the same object. We can see a top view, we can see our front view, and we can see our side view. This is an example of a pictorial. What we're going to be doing is drawing this pictorial into AutoCAD. In this unit, you guys are going to see images where you're going to be given an orthographic where you have three individual views, and then you're going to use those three views to create a pictorial. Now this particular pictorial is put onto 30-degree angles, and this one we would call an isometric, which is going to be the type of pictorial that we are going to focus on. So first thing we want to do is look at the sizing of our object, and then what we're going to do is create a box around our object at its extents, and then we can start drawing our shapes on the inside of the box, similar to what we did with an orthographic. So here we can see that our total length is going to be 80, our height is 44, and our width or depth is going to be 60. So let's grab a construction layer line. I'm going to draw in red. And before we do this, anytime we're drawing in isometrics, which by the way, there's a few different ways you can draw these pictorials or isometrics. Some people like to use the view cube and go on angles. What we're going to be doing is creating this pictorial onto a two-dimensional plane. So we're just going to stay on our original plane here, but we're going to be drawing some lines on some angles on our two-dimensional plane. Now the angles we're going to be using are all going to be on 30-degree increments. So go down to the bottom, make sure that your polar tracking is set to an increment level with 30 as an option there. So right now I usually set mine to 15, 30, 45, 60. You might find it easier to go up to 30, 60, 90 here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to click on a starting point, and we're now going to draw the bottom side of our box. So that's going to basically be this edge right here. So our total length of that line is going to be 60 units. Now, we're not drawing it at 0 degrees. We're drawing everything on 30-degree increments. So we're going to go on to 30-degree angle, and we're going to draw a line that's 60 units long. Okay. Now, from that line, we're going to draw the back bottom edge of the box. So we can't see that because this object is blocking it out. But our length of our line is going to be 80 units. So we're going to go back here. Now the angle that we're going to choose is going to be 150 degrees. And then we're going to go at 80 units. And oops, get rid of that line, bump that. And then we're going to do the back side of our box, that back corner. So that's also going to be 60 units. And now the angle that we're choosing on that, I'll just go back and show you guys here. If we're going right here, this would be 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, and then we're adding 30 to that, so it's actually 210 degrees. You can see here that on our interactive cursor, it's showing us at 150, which would basically be a negative 150. So again, that's at 60 units. So it should be parallel to this first line that we drew. And then if we come and snap this one on here at negative 30 degrees, we're at 80. So that will make this line parallel to this one. This one's parallel to this one. So now we have the bottom of our box. Now what we can do is set the height of our box. So we can see here that the height of our object is 44. So we can go into any one of the corners of our box, and we're just going to draw a line at 44 units. And that gives us our height. Now you could draw your whole box, or if you want, you can just take it and let's select all this, and we're just going to go and copy it. We're going to pick it up from this bottom of our height set, and we're just going to drag it up to the top like that. And now you can snap some lines here, or you can just do a copy on that as well, just like that. Okay, so now we have the extents of our box set. So we're 80 by we're 60 and 44. Now let's start by drawing our object. Now I'm going to flip into an object layer. When you get to more complex objects, this can be a little bit tricky. What I always say to do is draw it almost like an orthographic right now, and go to the outside edges or surfaces of your box and draw the shapes on them. Because sometimes trying to draw angles or lines that are within the box, it's hard to find the true starting point of those, because you're now working on an object that is basically skewed or tilted on a 30-degree angle. So I'm going to look, let's say at the top. So on our top view, the only shape that's touching the top surface of our box is this one right here. So it's 60 by 20. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go over 20 units. I'm going to come back here, 60 over 20, and back up 60. Okay. Then I'm going to look at our front view, and we're going to go down 44. We're going to go over here, so that's going to be 80 minus our 25, so that'll be 55. And then we can start doing these steps here. So we're going to go right here, down. We're going to come over, we said 80 minus 25, so we're coming over 55 units. And then we're going to go up our height here of 20. And then we're going to go back our step length. So we know that's going to be a total of 40 minus 25, so we're going back 15 units. Now, realizing here that as we go back, we have to be on 30-degree increments. So we're going to snap in at 150 degrees. So this line is going to be parallel to the bottom edge of our box. So at 150 degrees, we're going to snap in and go 15 units. Our vertical lines, the angles don't change. So anytime we're doing a vertical line, that should always be straight up and down at 90 degrees. So this one's straight up at 90. And that's going to be, our height looks like it is 12 units. And then the step length is going to be 20. And then we should snap that back up right there. And that should be 90 degrees at 12 to connect. Okay. So we've now created that surface, that shape that's right on our surface right there. Now the only other piece that is touching our surface of our box is going to be this one here on our side. So that one we can see starts on this corner. It's going to be 20 by, well, we're 25, take away 60, so we're at 35 on our length. So we're going to go over 35. We're going to go up 20. And then connect there. Okay, now that we've created these, we can now use these points to connect the rest of our object together. So I'm going to go down this side over here and just kind of connect these lines to each other, and then we can start running lines across for our stairs. So I'm going to start in this back corner right here and then go down 12, over 20, down 12, and then over 40. So if we click right here, now remember the vertical are right at 90, we're going down 12. And then we're going to go over here. It has to be on a 30-degree increment. So that's going to be negative 30 degrees or 330 degrees. And that's at 20. And we're going to go down another 12. And then if we go across here, it snaps in at 40, and that's at negative 30 degrees. Perfect. Now what we can do is we can draw our stairs here. I'm just going to click and copy this one from here to here to here to here. There we go. And now all we have left to do is this corner here in the front. So we can see here that that is at 25 units going in each direction. So I'm going to select right here. Now this has to be parallel with this step line here. So that's going to be at 30 degrees. And I'm going 25 units. And now if I come here and go negative 30 degrees, you can see that snaps in at 25 units as well at 30. And we can now take that same shape, these two lines, we can just copy them, bring them down here to get the bottom edge there. And then all we need to do is connect the line. I'm going to zoom in to make sure I click on the right intersection point and select it just like that. Now we can take our construction lines, turn them off, and now we have our object drawn just like this. So we are still working on a two-dimensional plane, but we have created a pictorial view in the form of an isometric that now shows us all three sides in the same view. Now it's your turn to go and do yours.